Going to get started. But before we do that, listen, I had a big success yesterday. Well, I shouldn't say I, because it wasn't just me. It was 24 people in my Unwoke Army over the weekend, spent all weekend working on exposing these schools in Burlington, Vermont for grooming children. And I just want to give a little update. As of this morning, we are retweeted by Dave Rubin, James Lindsay, Chris Rufo, Ben Shapiro, Stephen Miller, all sorts of conservative media. We were retweeted by so many people, and as of this morning, this tweet has almost 300,000 views on that video and over 1 million views on that tweet. Just a couple dozen people working all weekend to look at PDFs, to look at documents. And I know local media in Vermont is starting to pick this up. I know because they've been emailing me. So guys, we exposed something good. We exposed something cringe. We exposed something that I think is actually going to end up making an impact. And we're not done yet. This is just the first thing. We've got all sorts of stuff we're going to do with these schools. We've got all sorts of stuff we're going to do with Burlington. So I'm so proud of everyone in the Unwoke Army that took part in this. I just want to thank everyone who gave freely of their time. I have this little hater horde on Twitter that likes to talk about me all the time. They're all like, you're using people to work for free. They're all like, Carlin uses her community members to work for free. And the reason they're doing that is because they are upset, of course, that we're having success with something and they weren't involved in it, even though some of them were invited to be. But guys, what I want to talk about is how you can get involved with this. Because the Unwoke Army is a decentralized initiative that I am building as part of my Actively Unwoke platform. Actively Unwoke is the name of the book that I wrote that is going to be coming out in a little over a month. You can pre-order it right now on Amazon or any other, I think, major bookseller, but Amazon, of course, is the easiest. You can pre-order the hardcover, the Kindle version, or the audio version. And one of the things that I'm doing with my Actively Unwoke platform is I am building a decentralized initiative for fighting back against the woke. These are people who are working in their free time. And by the way, I don't get paid for this either. Let's just be clear. I don't make big bucks off this either. It is for glory. It is for victory. It's for the culture war, ladies and gentlemen. It is to preserve our American values, because if you have ever had any question of what you would have done during the civil rights movement or what you would have done during 1930s Germany, I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and know that I did everything I could to fight back against the woke insanity that is taking over our culture. That is what the Unwoke Army is. It is a group of average people that are coming together to say, I'm going to do something. I don't always know what I'm going to do, but I am going to do something. And so we get together, we have meetings, we have a private Discord server, we support each other, we help each other out. And one of the things I was just so proud of, over the weekend was how this Unwoke Army just came together. And everyone just started doing things that were in their wheelhouse. And everyone just started, we didn't really even know what we were looking for. And what I said to them was we just need to poke around this website. We need to poke around all their publicly available materials and their social media and everything. And when we find what we're looking for, we will know what it is. And we found it. And we honed in on it and we worked together. This was not just me that put together this Twitter thread and the article that we reviewed yesterday. This was everyone that was involved. It couldn't have been done without the help of everyone who came together. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. And we've had so much fun watching this go viral around the internet. We have had so much fun in the last couple of days. I think it's been incredibly motivating, incredibly inspiring. I know it gave me a white pill. I have to say, I'm going to be real here for a second, guys. I had a really tough year last year. And I had a lot of and I was depressed, clinically depressed for the latter part of the year and the first part of this year. And I had a really tough time with it. And there's been a big part of me for a while. And I bet many of you have kind of seen this in my content. And I know my locals community members have seen this. There's been a big part of me that's been like, what the fuck am I even doing? Why do I even bother? Because, and I'm not fishing for compliments here or anything, but like I've honestly felt just like really unappreciated and really discarded for everything that I've put myself through in the last couple years. And part of me was honestly like, is this even worth continuing with? I was seriously thinking about quitting in January. I was seriously thinking about it. But I decided to persevere because I was like, I got a book coming out. I can't quit now. I spent months writing the damn book. The book was really hard to write. It was really difficult for me to do. And I was like, why would I give up now? Like, if you're going to give up, you give up after the book comes out. You don't give up before the book comes out. And so I stuck with it. And I'm so, 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 so happy I did, because watching this group come together and everyone just having a really good attitude and not fighting with each other and not bickering and no one owned this. I know it might seem like I own this because it's my name on the tweet and my name on the article, but I really want to make it clear, like, no one owned this. There was no pride of ownership. There was no ego involved. It was just like everyone picking up and doing what needed to be done. And it made me so, 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 so happy. It was such a white pill moment because I was like, oh my God, if we can take what we did this past weekend and we can bring more people into it and we can inspire more people to fight back in a way that the growth is strategic. I'm not just bringing everyone into it willy-nilly, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Like, if we can actually grow this thing, that's a force to be reckoned with. That is a force of nature to weaponize average people who are just pissed off at what's going on in the culture, to have them fight back. That is why I wrote Actively Unwoke in the first place. It's why I launched the Unwoke Army. And I want to just talk just briefly about not there it is, about how you guys can get involved with the Unwoke Army if you want to. Now, the Unwoke Army started as a group of 24 people. It has it technically has an application process. If you go to activelyunwoke.com, you can actually find the application to it. I started with an application because I didn't like I wanted to start with something small. I haven't built something like this before. A decentralized initiative is like I wanted to be a little bit more pragmatic about it. What a decentralized initiative is essentially no one's in charge. I'm not in charge of this. I'm not approving anything. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm merely providing support and saying, I have a platform. Let's use my platform. Let's do it. But no one is in charge. And so I wanted to start with a couple dozen people just to kind of get our bearings, to figure out how this was going to work. And now I do want to work on, expanding it strategically. So here is how I've decided to do it. In order to be involved in the Unwoke Army, there are a couple steps. Number one, first one actually isn't a requirement. I would like you to pre-order my book. Now, you don't have to do it. I understand people are like, Carlin, you said you weren't making money off of this, and now you're telling us to buy your book. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. It is not a requirement. But the reason I say pre-order the book is because this is my philosophy. At the end of the day, this is my Discord server, and we're using my platform, and Actively Unwoke articulates my philosophy about how to fight back against the woke. And this is going to be the guidebook that I'm running from in this whole process. So while you don't have to order it, I'm not going to like hold a gun to your head and be like, did you order my book? You're not getting in my Unwoke Army until you order my book. I'm not going to say that, but it's a nice guide. Number two is I need you to join my locals community. You can join for free at kb.locals.com. Now, here's the rub for the moment, and I have a little bit of a workaround. Okay, I have a slight workaround. I want you to come to a community Zoom call in my locals. Community Zoom calls are held on Mondays and Wednesdays. So our next community Zoom call is tomorrow at noon. We hold them on Mondays at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at noon. I want you to come to a community Zoom call if you want to be in the Unwoke Army. And the reason that I want you to come to the community Zoom call is I want people to get to know you. Because this is where the Unwoke Army is essentially built. It was built off of the community Zoom calls that I've been running in my locals community for 2 years now. I've been doing them for 2 years. So I want you to come to one of our community Zoom calls. No one bites. No one's going to be mean. We're going to welcome you in. And I just want you to experience what the community is like and what it's like to be involved and to get to know some of the people involved. Then, when and if I decide you're not psychotic, then I will invite you to the Unwoke Army Discord. Now, what do I mean when I say you're not psychotic? What I mean is I don't want any bullshit or drama or bickering or infighting or nonsense or any of the other things that I have to experience on the daily on Twitter. I don't want it. I don't want it in my group. I don't want to deal with it. I have had enough. In the last year, I have had enough. I am done. And so I want to make sure that people who I bring into this group are people who are going to be there for the right reasons. And you can come with whatever skill set you have. You can come with whatever time commitment you have. I have people that they worked for maybe 5 or 10 minutes on a little bit of the project over the weekend. And they were like, oh man, I should have done more. And I just didn't have the time to. And I was like, that's okay. You are not obligated to donate your time to this group. You do it because you want to, not because you have to. You do it because you care about the goals and you care about fighting back, not because you have an obligation to do it. I want to make fighting back against the woke fun. That's what I want. I want us to have fun together. I want it to be like a club, like an activity. And so whatever time commitment you have, that's just perfect. Whatever skill set you're bringing to the table, that is just perfect. But no attitudes, no bullshit, no drama, no bickering. I am not doing it anymore. You can keep that nonsense on Twitter. And then once you get into the Discord, then we get to work. So I'm going to talk more about the community Zoom call in a sec. George says, I miss Zoom calls. I've been really busy lately. See, guys, life happens. George came to our Zoom calls very regularly for a while. We know who he is. I know George isn't insane. I know George isn't going to start shit and drama in my Unwoke Army Discord. I know that that's true. And so George would be a member of the Unwoke Army, even though he hasn't been to a Zoom call in a while. If you want to be in the Unwoke Army, George, you are more than welcome to be. So how you get access to the community Zoom calls is you do have to be a supporter in my locals community. And you're saying again, you're like, Carlin, you just said that you weren't getting paid for this. Well, that's just part of the features of the community, man. I'm sorry. I may expand it outside the community at some point. But this is where I'm at for right now. I'm just feeling very highly protective over this thing. But if you don't want to join for $5 a month, if you don't want to join for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free, if you don't want to make a one-time gift, if you cannot swing that $5 when you go to kb.locals.com/support to become a supporter in my community, to get access to come to our community Zoom calls, what I want you to do is I want you to go to promo code and I want you to put Unwoke into the box, and that is going to give you a free month in my locals community. So I don't want to hear any complaining. I don't want to hear any Twitter trolls being like, Carlin's only doing this to make money and blah, 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 blah. No. Put the code Unwoke into the box and you are going to get a free month in the community. That gives you an entire month to come to our community Zoom calls. That's like 8 community Zoom calls. If you can't prove to me that you are not a psychopath in 8 community Zoom calls, then it just might not work out. It's me, not you. But I think this is a pretty good deal. I don't want money to be the reason that people don't get involved with this if you want to get involved. The fact of the matter is, though, that I cannot dedicate as much time as I do to this work without my locals supporters. I just can't. I know times are tight. I know inflation hurts. I know all that. And I'm more than willing to offer promo codes and stuff like this for people who legitimately cannot afford $5 a month. I will help you out. But for those who can and can become full-fledged members of the group and support the work I'm doing, support the upkeep that my locals requires, support the fact that I'm creating and building and supporting all of these platforms to make sure we have a place to talk about the stuff we're doing in the Unwoke Army, to give us that ability to get news out there, then I would just really appreciate it. It's not that much money. $5 is less than a cup of coffee at your average Starbucks or even at Dunkin' Donuts now. Dunkin' Donuts prices have gotten ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. So you can come and join my locals at kb.locals.com/support for $5 a month, $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. And when you come to our community Zoom calls, you can become eligible to join the Unwoke Army and help us fight back against woke nonsense like what is going on in the Burlington School District. That's going to be an ongoing project, guys. I'll already tell you right now, that is going to be an ongoing project to monitor what's going on in that city because there's so much more that we haven't even gotten into. And yeah, Incognito says no interlopers either. No interlopers. Fun fact, we actually invited some of the interlopers that have caused me headaches before to come and work on this project with us. They didn't even decline. They ignored the offer. And then they've been complaining on Twitter about it ever since. So no interlopers allowed. We only want people who are serious about fighting back against the woke, not people that are doing it as part of a hobby, not people who are doing it as part of a social club, not people who are doing it to make money and to be famous on the internet and to sell their merchandise where there's only one good merch and then the rest of it's kind of shitty. So far, anyway, we only want people who really care about this. Listen, if your goal as part of the Unwoke Army is to build a platform, I will help you build a platform. This is not about me being the only one in the sunlight. I just only want people who are serious about this. So that's how we're going to do that. I look forward to more, and you guys are just kicking ass. It's so cool to see. You guys have given me hope, and I just want to say thank you for that.